Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on a Christmas or a New York Christmas wedding. New York Christmas wedding about a couple. They're getting married, and her family is gone, and her future mother in law wants to plan a Christmas wedding, and it all seems too much for her. Too much. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links are in the description. Oh, there you go, Joe. The Pineys books 1 through 7, comedy horror in South Jersey, and don't forget the Piney Power T-shirt now available for Christmas. So, oops, wrong one. There we go. Yeah, this movie. All right, so it gets weird. It gets weird really quickly. So she gets mad, goes out for a jog, runs into a guy who's I'm assuming he's gay because he's very effeminate. Talks to him, and he says, "Oh, I'm your guardian angel." And now, at first, I thought he was just joking because it just seemed like a weird wind-up, but I think he actually is. And then she goes on and on about she misses her dad and her best friend, who died 20 years ago, and he snaps his fingers and changes the world where they're both alive, and shows her a world in which her future husband is married to somebody else and has a kid, but she has a lesbian relationship with her best friend, and her dad's alive. So, like, what path would you take? Right? I'm pretty sure most people would take the path of the lesbian relationship and your father still being alive. I'm pretty sure that's the path. Whether whether I mean your father would be alive and your best friend, I'm pretty sure you would take that path. I'm pretty sure. And I guess her fiance is actually married, so there's no going back on that, even though she loves him too. So the crazy question is, oh, and by the way, Chris North is in it for some reason. He plays like a pastor or something. So the crazy thing is, it's not like it's a bizarre choice, right? It's like, do you want and the guardian angel keeps saying, well, you're gonna live your truth. So I think the ending is, yeah, she stays with her lesbian lover and her dad being alive. I think that's a pretty blatant choice. Like, you're kind of stacking the choice against living whatever life she had, and granted, maybe she wasn't happy in that life, but it's kind of like you're doing the same sort of It's a Wonderful Life thing, except you're stacking the deck on one side of the choice, right? If you eliminated the father from the picture, like if he wasn't, if it didn't matter, or he was alive in both scenarios, then it would be I think, more interesting because it would be a more balanced choice. Then it would be like, are you really gay kind of choice. And also if the friend wasn't dead. See, the friend's dead too. So it's like you've written this, in my view, wrong. And it's billed as a romantic movie, which is, I give you props for throwing in all these elements. At least it's a different kind of romance movie. Christmas too seems to be superfluous in this. Excuse me. I'm not sure why it had to be on Christmas. You could have made this at any time. So I guess because of the Christmas miracle aspect, and that guardian angel sort of harkens back to It's a Wonderful Life. So this is what it is. I guess it's a gay version of It's a Wonderful Life, but I think you're stacking the deck. I think you're stacking the deck for her to make the choice. Oh yeah, I want to stay gay and have my dad alive. Yeah. Her friend and her dad is alive. That's a win-win. Like, even if she was unhappy in that life, or not as happy in that life, and she obviously is from the trailer, then everybody's alive. So I think the choice, you've made the choice odd. You've made the choice not a choice between living your truth and not living your truth. You made the choice, you've created a choice where it's like, well, do I want these two people who I love alive. Do you see? Do you see how you screwed that up? Like you've made it the wrong choice. Yeah, you've made it the wrong choice. The choice in the Jimmy Stewart movie was, I would have been better off, not being around because I screwed up. And then the reality is, no, it would have been much worse. You wouldn't have been around, and therefore, you wouldn't have you had to look at the bright side of life, apparently. What does this movie say? Like, what you could have done is you could have created a dual thing where it was like, well, I had a lesbian relationship, but, um, I for whatever reason we broke up, or I didn't pursue it because at the time I felt uncomfortable about it, and I felt that marrying her boyfriend or whomever she later met would be more in line with making her more comfortable, right? So the choice could be, do you want comfort or do you want love, right? And then he shows her the life she could have had with her girlfriend, and maybe it's a bit of a struggle, and maybe she's an artist or whatever, and but she's much more in love with her, right? They're having such a great time, and they don't have that. She doesn't have that fun with the boyfriend. And then when she makes that choice, it's like, oh, you got to follow your heart. Oh, obviously she loved her more, and she didn't follow her heart, and now we're correcting that mistake. That would be the way to write it. So the first act is, of course, her life with her boyfriend, fiance, and it's money, I guess, and comfortable, but she's kind of not that happy. But she's already mentioning her friend dead from 20 years ago and her dead father in the trailer. Now, obviously, her dead father she probably mentioned at a wedding planning event because, yeah, you want your parents to be there. But mentioning your dead friend from 20 years ago is a little odd. Maybe you would. I mean, 20 years is a long time. Anyhow, then the second act, of course, she meets her guardian angel. He talks to her and gets all the deets, and then changes her life to this other thing where, her father's alive, her friend is alive, she's in love with her friend, her fiance is married to somebody else, and she discovers all that during the course of the second act. And then it's about, well, will she stay with her lesbian lover and her dad being alive, or will she go back to her I guess more dreary life, being married to the guy and kind of being in love with him? I think she's going to stay in the new reality. But normally you would go back to the regular reality. So it'd be weird, but I'd have to give you props if she did go back to her regular life. I would love to see the reasoning for that. If she went back to her, boyfriend because, for whatever reason. But I don't think that's the way the movie's going. No. I think she stays in the new reality and F the old reality. She wasn't living her truth. I think that's the message of the movie. But I think you could have made that work without making it a choice of life or death for two people. So, anyhow, I don't know. Maybe I got to teach more screenwriting. Watch some of my videos, because that's a false choice. Maybe I'll do a screenwriter's rant or screenwriting tips about false choices and why you shouldn't have them in a movie. I'd have to do some research in some terrible movies. So would I see this? I got to be honest. I might, if I could get this for free. I wouldn't pay for it. It's buy or rent. Buy here on YouTube. But if I could get access to this movie for free, I'd at least want to check out the ending just to see, if my prediction is true. But beyond that, and maybe I'd see it to see if they could actually pull it off. I don't think they could. I don't think there's any way in hell this movie is anything about but but basically propaganda. Oh, you should have been gay, and then people would have been alive. So, but I'd be interested to see like how close they come to pulling it off. I don't think they can, but weird. Very weird. Anyhow, that's it for me. Tony D. Check me out on Bitchute and Rumble. If you think I'm based here, you should check me out on Bitchute and Rumble for the truly based takes. Joan and I will see you tomorrow.